Hello FCM Marketplace. I have just learned about this aspect of our organization, the Fellowship of Christian Magicians, and I thought I should do my part to put resources on this marketplace. And I have a video that goes with what you're seeing here, and I put it on the FCM site, which is just a show. It's designed to inspire, it's designed to be an example of how to put a show together. But sort of like when you go to a lecture at a conference, you see the teaching, but then you also want to know, well, if I want to try to do that, can I get those items? So I thought here on the marketplace, I'll go ahead and share the different things that I used in that particular presentation. And if you didn't see the presentation, I think you'll still understand what I'm talking about and find things of interest. Where did it go? Here we go. I got to step behind camera for a minute. At least you know this is live. I thought I was well organized and I forgot to have this. The opening routine that I did in that little show, and if you're looking for a good opening routine, something that you will be able to use again and again and again, well, it's something called the Palmo routine. The Palmo looks like this. It's a gimmick. This is something we manufacture, and you can purchase the routine. If you want the whole routine, you get silks with it, and otherwise just the gimmick. And we also have a DVD that teaches the handling of the gimmick. But basically this is a wonderful tool for doing the color changing handkerchief type effect. So my son's website is laflinmagicstore.com, and that's where you go to check out our products. But if you look for Palmo, P-A-L-M-O, you can find the Palmo gimmick, and you can also find a DVD on the Palmo, the complete Palmo routine. And this is how you are able to take, for example, in this case, a red handkerchief. I push it into my hand and it becomes a white handkerchief. It flows through my hand easily, beautifully. It's a wonderful gimmick, very easy to handle, and really quite amazing what you can do with it. So anyway, the Palmo is something, if you don't know that routine, you very much might want to check it out. Then a rope trick, which I really like. And there are some great rope tricks on the market, and some of them require a lot of practice, a lot of memory work to keep the sequences and all of that. This is basically a self-working trick that we call the illusion of one rope. So you're just looking for the illusion of one rope. And it's designed, it looks like a big long piece of rope, and it's designed so when you start pulling pieces down, all of a sudden it's got more ends than you ever would have thought possible. The ends start disappearing, and then back to one long piece of rope, and in the end you tie a knot. You show the audience you tied a knot, or did you not? And all of a sudden, somehow, some way, there's another knot, and there's another knot, there's three knots, and it is a pretty good trick, is it not? Now, I'm not going to teach all the secrets here because I don't know who all tunes into the marketplace, and I'm just not comfortable exposing all the secrets to things, but I'll tell you, the rope trick, illusion of one rope, super easy to do, basically self-working. Just once you get it and understand what happens with it, you can do it. And it's really, really a nice and a very effective rope trick. Well, then after that, I talked about the prophecy of Isaiah, and I used a black handkerchief to produce some small silks. And the gimmick I used there is a handkerchief ball. It's different than the Palmo. The Palmo is designed to take silk straight through. This is something where you produce silks. And all I did is I had these handkerchiefs in the Palmo. I had the Palmo in my hand. I held onto the handkerchief after showing both sides of the handkerchief, I'll turn sideways so you can see, I just put my hand under the center, grabbed a hold of the ball, there it is like that, and I would start pulling the silks out. So very simple thing, but a really nice way to make that presentation. So I produced silks from a black handkerchief by way of the Palmo. I produced enough silks to talk about the prophecy in Isaiah, wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. One handkerchief for each one of those prophecies. Then these all go into a tube. This is called a Massal Tube, M-A-S-S-A-L. You'll find them on the site. They look great. These look like parchment. They're designed to look like a scroll. And great for talking about prophecies, but also you can do so many tricks with these. In this case, I put all 5 handkerchiefs into the scroll, and then I tap on it as if the handkerchiefs are passing all the way through the scroll. And in the end, out comes the one of which the prophecy spoke, which is Jesus Christ. And then you show the great big Jesus silk, the big picture of Jesus there, or at least a picture that makes us think of Jesus. And you open up the tube and you show there's nothing else there. And if you saw the routine, the full presentation, then I closed the tube, and there's enough room to produce a 4-inch wide by 32-foot streamer. I just did a 16-foot streamer in that little show, but there's enough room to have a 36-inch Jesus silk and a huge streamer in here. It still looks empty, but it's not empty. For example, those first handkerchiefs I put in there, they're still there. So it's really an amazing little device. And we also make this in a big, huge model for producing feather flower bouquets. So again, that's something that you would check out at LaflinMagicStore.com. Then I did the trick, what does God want for Christmas? And this, I'm really proud of this, an idea we came out with some years ago. But the artwork is great. You have all these different things that represent gifts for Christmas. And what happens, and it's self-working, but you mix the cards up just by counting them down on your table. And you have the audience tell you how many times to mix the cards. And once you're done mixing the cards, you spell Jesus, J-E-S-U-S. So I'll just do that for now. It'll be J-E-S-U-S, and you're going to come to the heart. And the message, the theme is, that's what God wants for Christmas. He wants our hearts. And this is very beautifully made, and it is something that will hold up for a long, long time. And you can find it at the site called What Does God Want for Christmas? Now, over here is basically, those of you who have been in magic a while, you already know about the trick called the Stratospheres. And it's usually a white tube with 3 dots on it, and then it comes with a little box decorated with a joker. It's a great tool. I highly recommend it. But I wanted a different look, and the one problem with the standard Stratospheres is the vanish is not angle proof. If you have people off to the side or behind you, they're going to see what you're doing. So I wanted a way to get around that. So now, Laflin Magic Store, we manufacture our own version of this. We call it the Priority Balls. And it's made much better, much more superior materials than the one that's standard on the market now. Comes with these big balls that are super heavy duty, designed to really hold up well. Clear acrylic tubes, and the idea is you cover the tube and you put the balls in, and they keep changing places inside the tube. You notice the green one in first, the red one goes in last, but you take it off and now the red one's down on the bottom. And then the conclusion of the routine, and this is where it's different. In other words, our version does not have that joker box, but instead at the conclusion you bring out a cloth, and I've got a black jacket on. I wasn't thinking when I was planning this routine. I probably should have a different colored jacket to make this stand out better. But anyway, you take your red ball, you just hold it under the center of the cloth. I'll come right up close so you can see. Try to get it off where the light, there we go, you can see it better. But anyway, the balls, you just show it right there in front of the audience like that. Flip your hand and the ball is gone. You can pull that cloth right through your hand and big ball's gone. And then you go over to your tube and it's back again. So it's a wonderful, wonderful illusion. And I like that lesson of priorities very much, and you can apply it directly to Christmas, but you can apply it all year long. So if you're looking for something just to add to your toolbox as a Christian illusionist, the priority balls is just extra specially recommended. We get toward the end of this. I did the Christmas feather. I love feather plumes. I do all kinds of feather plume tricks. This is designed to be a story about a tree that wanted to be decorated for Christmas. It's a legend. And of course nothing's happening. And then you talk about, compared to that, people who feel like their lives are not going to change. Well, in the end, the tree goes into the magic wand and has the kids say Merry Christmas. And when the kids say Merry Christmas, out it comes, beautiful as it can be. And you show there's nothing left in the tube. It really is empty. And it's a great illusion. But it also illustrates the idea that, you know, in the story, the legend, the tree had to say, somebody's got to help me. And so in life we have problems, we have needs, and rather than being ashamed of our problems and feeling like we can't let anybody know, we need to confess to God that we need Him. And really, there's times we have to confess to people that we need them too. So it's a nice, strong lesson, and this is called the Christmas feather. It's just one of the many things in our line of Christmas tricks. Now, those of you who have our feather plumes, I think you'll be especially interested in this, but I've done a ton of experimentation and work to get to the point that we have, but we finally have been able to figure out how to make a beautiful ending for feather plume tricks. Take a look at that. Really, really nice feathers. And you know, if you're familiar with Botanias, even the small Abbott's Botania now, I think it's like $750 or more. I think, in fact, possibly it's up to like $1,000. And then the only alternative seems to be some of the really cheaply made versions. And then there's nothing that will do what this is designed to do. Oops, got to grab the right tube. That wasn't the right tube. Here we go. But this is designed, it's got a hollow center. It's designed to be an ending, so even if you do the old color changing feather plumes where the, you know, you just keep running them through a tube and they keep changing, well, it's nice to have an ending for that. So you, instead of just sort of stopping and saying, well, I'm done, that's all the changes they're going to make, you want to have something special, kind of an extra big surprise. So this, right now you're seeing me set this up in front of you, but this is how you put it together and get it ready for the show. You put it inside the tube and then you screw the bottom of it on, which is more difficult to do in front of the camera than I anticipated, but anyway, I'll just concentrate and get it done. There we are. So now the thing is setting there. It's a tube in a flower pot. Get this the right angle for you there. And once you've finished your feather plume routine, you take that last plume, you place it in the center like that, and you pull the lid off, and you've got a big, beautiful bush of flowers, and you've got an empty tube. So it's very, very nice, and instead of costing thousands or 500 whatever, I'll have to double check, but I think this is like $149. So it's less priced than some of the high quality sleeve bouquets and things are nowadays. It's really beautiful. It's a great ending for your feather tube tricks. So that's it. For now, this is my first time to do something on the FCM Marketplace, and I just wanted to present it kind of like a mini lecture along with showing you products are available. Please do check out LaflinMagicStore.com and communicate with my son about things. And if David doesn't have it, or you're under a time crunch and for some reason he can't get it to you in time, you can contact Mary and I directly, and especially these endings to the plume tricks. These are made by hand. We can only turn out a few at a time, and so David will rarely have them in stock. Hopefully he will have them in stock, but if he doesn't, it could be that if you need one in a time crunch that we have it, but we haven't sent it to David yet, so you can check on that. Last thing I'm going to mention, those of you know about my juice bottle production, where I produce all the bottles and things like that. I sold out of it at the FCM conference 2 years ago. I said I wasn't going to make them again, but I got so many requests. We're remaking them. They're going to come with a fancy bottle holder, the whole works, and Lord willing, they'll be ready by the end of this week, which means probably too late for you to get them by Christmas, but you really don't necessarily need them for your Christmas show anyway. You get them now before the end of the year, so you can think about putting them into your show in coming years. So watch for the advertisements that will come out of them sooner or later. That's it. Bottom line in all this is we do our best to provide you with good resource. We use our products. I only sell what I'd be comfortable using. I don't sell junk. I don't sell something I wouldn't want to buy myself. So you can trust that you'll have a good experience with us. Again, that's it. I'm Duane Laflin talking about some of the products for LaflinMagicStore.com.